Navy SEALs. I served 3 tours in Vietnam. That's more tours in charge of a SEAL detachment than anybody else. We specialized in kidnappings, ambushes, and on occasion POW, prisoner of war rescues. On my second tour, I participated primarily in ambushes along the primary waterways leading into Saigon, where the civilian freighters bringing in supplies were under attack by VC, Viet Cong sappers, we call them terrorists today. And we were also protecting the Navy patrol boats that were there to protect the freighters. And that effort wasn't working as well as they'd like, so they brought us in to work in what were essentially mangrove swamps. On my third tour and final tour in Vietnam, we would acquire intelligence from first-hand sources regarding the location and identification of a specific enemy official and the immediate defenses in the area that the person lived in. We would then use ex-Viet Cong, former Viet Cong fighters, to lead us into the targeted individual's location. We would go in to kidnap them, bring them back for interrogation. At the end of my tour, several years later, I realized that war is an ineffective, totally ineffective way of achieving peace. Most people are intrigued by what SEALs do, such as the covert missions, clandestine operations, etc. What few realize is that Navy SEALs must be a certain way for their extraordinary missions to succeed. Frequently, when nobody else can do the job, they bring in the Navy SEALs in very small units. At any time and in any environment under adverse conditions, Navy SEALs succeed more often than not because they have what I call the secrets to being unbeatable. The SEAL instructors take highly qualified and committed volunteers, and they are people who stand in the top 1% of the population medically, academically, and physically. They then run these men through extreme and demanding physical, emotional, and mental exercises. The exercises are designed to press the men or the trainees beyond what most people would consider human tolerance. Those who succeed experience an indescribable sense of accomplishment and self-confidence. The successful graduate demonstrates to himself, his fellow trainees, and the instructor staff over a 6-month training program that he is bigger and more powerful than his self-limiting beliefs, reasons, excuses, justifications, etc. The instructors challenge, and some would say torment them, in an effort to cause him, the trainee, to ring the bell, which is a public event in like a courtyard, where when you ring the bell, that tells everybody you're quitting. You don't get to quit silently. Trainees are rarely thrown out. They are pressed until the majority of them quit. Upon graduating from BUDS, which means Basic Underwater Demolition and SEAL Training, the new SEAL starts all over again at the bottom. He's now in an operational team. During the 6 months that he's in an operational team, the first 6 months he's on probation. And at the end of that 6 months, or a total of 1 year, he's either designated a Navy SEAL or he's dropped. So here's the link. Like Navy SEALs, you deal with adversity on a moment-by-moment and day-to-day basis. And if you don't know that, this may sound rude, you're just asleep. If you're awake on the highways, you'll see what I'm talking about. I can't imagine going on a combat patrol in Vietnam with a cell phone in one ear, Big Mac in the other, putting on my camouflage paint that I forgot to do before we left, and holding my puppy in my arm. And yet people routinely do that on the highways, where more people are killed in a year than in Vietnam in a year. Like Navy SEALs, you deal with the unknown. No one ever knows what's going to happen in the future. Whether it's in a kidnapping operation, or in your marriage, or in your family or your career. Like Navy SEALs, your life depends not only on your actions, but also on your lack of actions, as well as people around you's actions or lack of them. You no doubt possess what it takes to succeed when things are working, when things are going along, kind of routine. But chances are when unexpected outside forces such as 9/11 or SARS or the bear market challenges your business, or you're facing adversity within your family or romantic partnership, you may lack the training necessary to be unbeatable against these kinds of adversity on a sustaining basis. I don't know of anyone in the civilian world that receives the kind of training to be able to display being unbeatable or the mastery of being unbeatable day after day, moment by moment. So if you're interested, you might want to start by asking yourself a question, which I will give to you. The question is, who are you? Who are you right now, in this moment, right here in this workshop? Who are you right now in the matter of your success? In a word or a very short phrase, come up with one word or phrase to describe who you are in the matter of your own success right now. So the first unbeatable secret is, be a volunteer. There's no in between. You're not sort of a volunteer. A volunteer is someone who takes full responsibility for the quality, path, and design of their life. A victim is someone who blames outside forces for the quality, path, and design of their life. As in, you make me mad. That's a victim talking. Now, when you actually start to get this, it's shocking how many victims there are living in the world. You may even see yourself in this, which is good. You may not like what you see, but that's a start. There are true victims in the world, so I want to distinguish this because a woman got very upset with me when I said this. There are some true victims. Christopher Reeve. Everybody know who Christopher Reeve is? Played Superman in 3 movies. How many of you actually think that if you had lived in Hollywood, they might have selected you over Christopher Reeve to play Superman? I certainly don't. I mean, he had it all, right? Tall, handsome, educated, and after he made those movies, in demand as a movie actor, made a lot of money, married, and then he liked to ride horses. He was in a horse show, he fell off his horse, broke his neck, and he's now paralyzed from here down. He needs assistance breathing and talking. For the first year after the accident, all he could think about was how bad his luck was, how he wanted to die. It was a struggle. The amount of care that it took to keep him alive was enormous. Fortunately, he was famous and had the money to be able to support it. And after about a year, and I saw him interviewed on television, he said he started to listen to his wife, Dana. He began to listen to her conversation, which had been encouraging and supportive the entire year. He began to listen to her conversation instead of his own. And today, even though the world may think he was a victim, for himself, he's not a victim, and that's all that counts anyway. And he now is heading up organizations designed to do research on people with similar injuries, all kinds of things he's involved in. And he does not feel sorry for himself. He actually looks at it as an opportunity to make a difference with his life. And he sees that the life he did lead didn't make any difference. I mean, it was entertaining to be Superman for people, but that's about it. I don't think it drove any more people to become actors. Now he's making a difference. So victimized people have reasons and justifications to explain the circumstances in their lives. Like, my father was a jerk. My mother left when I was 5. We were so poor I never finished high school. My family never supported me when I wanted to be a hockey player or a doctor or whatever, so I never had the right backing to do it. I didn't go to the right university. I didn't inherit any money. If I had inherited money, I'd be different. Things would be going well. And on and on and on. The idea of Bud's training is to take highly qualified volunteers, and press them beyond human endurance. or at least what they think is human endurance. The purpose of it is so the instructors can test the trainees' resiliency of spirit, despite their talents or lack of them, despite their upbringings, and the breaks or lack of breaks in their life. In fact, in the very first talk, the instructor who gave the talk when we first got together as a group said, some of you in this room are quitters. This is the place to make a stand. You've quit everything in your life. You quit your family, you quit high school. This is the place to make a stand. What's predictable is you won't, because this is more difficult than high school or your family. And some of the guys that made it through were guys that had quit before, and they didn't this time. By the end of the day, at night in the dark, when every cell in your body is at the point of physical exhaustion, and you're told to continue standing in ice-cold water up to your neck, naked, and it seems like hours, and the worst part is you don't know how long this is going to go on because they haven't told you. This wasn't on the schedule that they published. You begin to question your commitment, let alone your sanity, especially when you have no idea when this evolution or exercise will end. At times, you actually believe your instructors are trying to kill you. You find yourself forced in every shaking moment, standing there in the water, to ask yourself, do I really want this? You think, what the hell did I get myself into? This isn't like the movies. Or the classic, I didn't know it was going to be like this. The only thing that keeps you going is in every moment choosing, no matter what, to be a volunteer. Every painful moment to remain in the training of your own free will. At many times during Bud's training and several times in combat, I had to choose to be a volunteer over and over and over again. I knew I put myself into this situation. There was nobody I could blame. The instructors had done everything to get me to quit. Not me personally, but everybody that went through my training. Or I could have become victimized by the situation and quit. So let's look at your life. Where do you have someone or something or a series of events or circumstances like 9/11, the stock market, the war on Iraq, SARS, swine flu, your bad childhood, an abusive relationship, or bad luck as the reasons or causes to explain your inability to survive or thrive in your life, or to be as successful as you'd like to be? Remember, I asked you, who are you in the matter of your own success? What was the word or phrase? I want you to presence it in your own mind now again. What was the word or phrase you gave for your inability to succeed at your desirable level? Whatever word or phrase that you came up with is, and consider this as a possibility, not the truth again, the obstacle that is keeping you from succeeding at your desired level. Whatever that word or phrase is, that's what's stopping you. What you might forget is that you created that word or phrase. Nobody gave it to you. You created your own obstacle. I'm too short. I don't know anybody. Whatever yours is. And now you're trying to overcome that which you created. It's a little bit like a dog chasing its tail. In my SEAL example, I could have said that it was the ice-cold water, the physical exhaustion, or the instructor's relentless tormenting that would have caused me, if I had, to quit the Bud's training. But it would not have been the outside forces, if I had quit, that had caused me to quit. It would have been my decision, despite what was being thrown at me. It would have been my decision to honor, listen carefully, an illusion rather than to be steadfast in my commitment. Illusions are a form of shoulds and shouldn'ts. There is no should or shouldn't in reality. Illusions are conversations we create. For example, the buds training shouldn't be this difficulty, or the instructor should be gentler with the trainees. They didn't have to call him all those names after he broke his leg. You may have been saying something on the order of, my husband or wife shouldn't be a certain way. They shouldn't be so, or they should be they should be this way. My buddy has a wife. My wife should be like her. My boss should be a certain way. And he shouldn't do those things that he's been doing the last couple of months. The economy should be better. It shouldn't be the way that it is. Guess what? Life is what it is, and it is what it isn't. It is what it is, and it is what it isn't. There are no shoulds or shouldn'ts, except in your internal dialogue. And they're killers. They're killers of goals and dreams and visions, etc.